Welcome to a deep dive into, well, an incredibly unique and, yeah, definitely provocative subject today.
Mm,
We're stepping inside the pages of a book called Why You Should Never Masturbate by David Baldwin.
quite a title.
It really is. And our mission here isn't about endorsing anything, but more about exploring the specific claims, the perspectives, understanding what the author thinks is this biggest discovery in medical science and its devastating ripple effects.
Right. We're here to get a handle on the ideas, really, however unconventional they might seem.
Exactly.
And what makes this deep dive particularly interesting, I think, is that it's not just one person's opinion in isolation.
Oh,
Yeah, the book actually has forewords from, get this, a homeopathy doctor, an allopathy doctor, and an Ayurveda doctor.
wow. Okay, that's quite a mix.
It is, and they all, in different ways sort of acknowledge or at least consider the book's premise, even if it clashes sometimes significantly with standard modern medical views. So that blend of perspectives, it just makes for a really fascinating starting point, I think.
Okay, all right, let's unpack this then. The title itself, I mean, it jumps right out at you. So what is the fundamental premise here? What's the core idea David Baldwin is putting forward?
Well, at its heart, the book argues that semen isn't just, biological stuff. It's described as a highly complicated substance.
Okay.
Even a potent and potion for every possible thing in life, and an energy preserver, protector, and enhancer.
Potent potion, wow. So very powerful stuff, according to the book.
Extremely. And foundation to this is the concept of ojus. The book says semen helps build this ojus.
O-juice, O-G-U-S.
Yeah, ojus. It's described as the horsepower of the body, and it's supposed to protect you from all forms of negative energies and diseases.
Horsepower of the body. So we're talking about a very different model of physiology here. Semen as like the absolute bedrock of vitality, way beyond just reproduction.
Precisely. And it goes further. The book insists semen isn't just, in the seminal vesicles or testicles,
Right, that's the standard understanding.
but this book claims it's actually stored in the entire body, in the form of all your energies.
All your energies. Where exactly?
Well, it mentions muscles, bones, even the brain, places you wouldn't normally associate with it. It's a very holistic view, pervasive almost.
So what this really means for you, listening, is that the book paints semen as absolutely fundamental, crucial to, well, everything about a person, way beyond its usual role.
That's the core message, yeah.
So, following that logic, if semen is this vital life force, this ojus builder, what happens when it's wasted?
Mm.
What are the claimed consequences of ejaculation, specifically through masturbation?
Okay, here's where the book gets really detailed. It lists a huge number of negative impacts from what it calls semen ejaculation or masturbation.
Like what? Physically?
Yeah, physically, it talks about weakening a protective energy field. This supposedly leads to skin problems like visible pores on your face, dull or rough skin, losing your glow, that kind of thing.
Skin issues.
Also, muscle twitching or vibrating veins, constipation, digestive problems, slower metabolism, even a burning sensation in the penis, aching testicles, urination issues, increased sweating.
Wow.
The book wraps all these physical things up under the term semen dehydration.
Semen dehydration. It's a striking term. That's a very comprehensive list just on the physical side.
Yeah.
But I imagine it doesn't stop there.
Not at all. It moves right into mental and cognitive effects. The book claims masturbation depletes key elements from the brain.
Leading to.
Headaches, reduced thinking ability, forgetfulness, trouble concentrating, and just like prolonged mental tiredness. Impatience, too.
All right, so mind and body. What about emotionally? Or
Yeah.
spiritually, even?
Yep. It's those two. It mentions feeling giddy, restless, having trouble sleeping, feeling physically and mentally older.
Older.
Interesting. Yeah, and feeling empty inside. Also, an elevated desperation to have sex, which is maybe counterintuitive. And it even mentions weakening the 7 chakras.
Chakras. So bringing in Eastern spiritual concepts as well.
Right, the body's energy centers. It ties it all together.
And you mentioned social or relational aspects. How does that fit in?
Well, the source mentions a bad odor of semen or a stinking penis due to accumulation, and the claim that frequent masturbation can hurt your marital sex life later on and even lead to antisocial effects, though it doesn't detail those quite as much.
Okay. Is there like an example or story in the book to illustrate this?
There is, yeah. It tells an anecdote about a teenager. He starts masturbating a lot, thinking it's healthy, right?
Uh-huh.
But instead, according to the book, he develops really bad facial pimples, and his skin becomes coarser. It's presented as direct evidence.
So the whole argument is that masturbation isn't just neutral or healthy, it actively starts reversing and damaging the body.
That's exactly the book's position.
It's a lot to take in.
Hmm.
What really stands out to you from that extensive list? It paints this picture of, well, comprehensive decline. Almost every part of life is apparently affected.
It really does.
Which brings up the obvious question. How does the book square these really strong claims with, what modern medicine generally says?
Right. That's a key point. And the book tackles it head on. It acknowledges that modern medicine often sees masturbation as healthy, even recommends it sometimes.
Okay, so it doesn't just ignore it.
No, but then it asserts that modern researches on effects of masturbation semen ejaculation are not totally clear or are confusing at times.
So it questions the clarity of modern research.
Exactly. The core argument is that modern medical science is basically not advanced enough to understand semen thoroughly, and that a lot of the real knowledge is actually lost and forgotten science.
Lost science. So it's positioning itself as recovering something ancient, something deeper than modern understanding.
Precisely. And those forewords from the doctors we mentioned earlier, they kind of bolster this idea within the book itself.
How so? What do they actually say?
Well, the homeopathy doctor calls it one of such rare books that every single person in the world must refer. Pretty strong endorsement.
Yeah, that's huge.
The allopathy doctor, while noting, the differences with mainstream medicine, still says semen is a crucial ingredient and people should know about these supposed devastating effects.
Even the allopathy doctor finds some common ground then.
Seems so within the context of the foreword. And the Ayurveda doctor calls the book the elixir for the youngsters.
Elixir for the youngsters, wow. So these forewords definitely add a layer of maybe credibility or at least varied perspectives right inside the book.
They certainly frame it in a particular way, yeah.
And you mentioned lost science. The book relies heavily on older traditions then.
Oh, absolutely. It leans heavily on ancient sciences and religious scriptures. It cites a whole range, Jain agams or sutras, Hindu scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads,
Okay.
Buddhism, Japanese Shinto, Taoism, and traditional Chinese medicine, Siddha, Unani medicine.
That's a wide net.
It is. And the book's claim is that all these diverse traditions unanimously considered it harmful, meaning ejaculation, particularly outside of procreation, or at least strongly emphasized semen retention or celibacy.
So the argument is this wasn't some niche idea, but a universal ancient wisdom.
That's the suggestion, that this critical knowledge got diluted and scattered over centuries, and this book is trying to piece it back together.
Right. And it's crucial for us, and for you listening, to remember. The book is presenting these as its interpretations, its findings. It's trying to recenter what it sees as lost knowledge.
Exactly. Our goal here is just to explore its claims, its arguments, the perspectives it highlights. We're not here to scientifically validate them, but to understand what the source material is actually saying.
Understood. Okay, so if wastage is the big problem, according to the book, what's the solution? What does it prescribe? How do you avoid these negative effects or recover from them?
Right. It definitely offers solutions, a whole toolkit, really, for protecting semen and for recovery if ejaculation happens.
Okay, like what?
Well, for starters, it talks about a recovery timescale. It suggests semen takes 30 to 40 days to get back to its original state after an ejaculation.
30 to 40 days, that's quite specific.
Yeah, and it uses this interesting analogy like long-term semen retention to a cumulative investment, like putting money away. It yields increasing interest earnings over time for your health and energy.
A cumulative investment.
Yeah.
That's a powerful way to frame it. Makes it sound very strategic.
Yeah.
What about involuntary ejaculation, like wet dreams or nightfalls? Does it address that?
It does, yeah. It offers pretty specific advice to avoid nightfalls. Things like positive thinking before sleep. Think all the good things.
Okay. Practical tips?
Sleeping position is mentioned sleep on your side, not your back or stomach. And it even recommends wearing something called a langet.
A langet, what's that?
It's a traditional Indian loincloth. The book says wearing it helps prevent erections and rubbing during sleep. The idea is to minimize physical stimulation, even subconscious arousal.
I see. A very physical intervention. But what if, despite these efforts, ejaculation does happen? Is there like an immediate damage control plan?
Yes, there's a protocol for post-ejaculation. Drink sufficient water. It suggests up to 100 ounces or about 3 liters a day.
Wow. Lots of water.
Yeah. Avoid scratching your face or testicles because it claims itching can occur then. And interestingly, do push-ups or other exercises right away to build back the lost energies faster.
Exercise to recover energy.
Okay. And, of course, maintain a good diet. That's emphasized, too.
It sounds like it's not just about these specific actions, but more about a whole way of living. Does
Yeah.
it give broader lifestyle advice?
Oh, definitely. It's very holistic. Key advice includes thinking self-encouraging and more confident thoughts. Getting good sleep is crucial. Sleep well and wake up early, aiming for 8 to 10 hours.
Standard health advice there. Anything more unusual?
Well, this one's interesting. Keep your room and living space tidy.
Tidy. Why?
Because, according to the book, untidiness generates negativities. And maybe
Yeah.
the most surprising one, live with family.
Live with your parents or siblings.
Yeah, living with parents, siblings, family, etc. It says this provides mutual support, even financial benefits, and then it makes this leap, claiming this somehow lowers global warming.
Wait, living with family lowers global warming? How does it connect those dots?
It's not fully explained, but the implication seems to be around shared resources, maybe. It's
Yeah.
quite a claim. My messy desk is apparently contributing to climate change.
Huh. Okay, that's unexpected. What about food? You mentioned diet is important for recovery, but does it say more about building good semen through food?
Yes, it does. Big emphasis on always eat freshly cooked, healthy home food. Avoid, junk, frozen, packaged, ready-to-eat off-the-shelf food.
So whole foods, basically.
Pretty much. Eat in moderate quantity. Stick to fixed times for meals, and don't stay up late. Standard Ayurvedic type principles, maybe?
Makes sense. Any other practices recommended, like exercise or meditation?
Absolutely. Yoga-san's yoga postures and meditation are highlighted as really important. They're said to help lower the negative effects, control sexual desire, and build inner strength, both mental and physical.
Specific types.
It mentions general types and techniques like breathing exercises, chanting, focusing on your own body during meditation.
And wasn't there something about talking to your subconscious mind?
Yeah, that's another technique. Simple affirmations or commands for your subconscious. Things like, I don't need to masturbate anymore, or stop masturbation, it is not required by me. The idea is to program your mind to resist the urge.
Okay, so looking at all this, the diet, the sleep, the tidiness, the mindset, the yoga, the langat, it's clearly advocating for a complete lifestyle overhaul, all centered around this principle of semen retention.
Exactly. It's a very comprehensive, integrated system laid out in the book.
Now, the book doesn't just stop at the individual level, does it? It makes these connections to, well, much bigger things: society, youth, the future. How does it bridge that gap?
It really goes broad. For instance, it claims that masturbation among teenagers is a major cause of mental issues and stops their brains and bodies from reaching full potential.
Wow, okay, so a direct impact on development.
Yeah, and it urges parents to teach their kids about this. Then there are claims about marriage. It says if married couples avoid masturbation, their sexual experiences will be extraordinarily wonderful.
How so?
It describes the husband having immense pleasure and the wife also gaining immense pleasure from sex characterized by things naturally emitting from the skin, a stone-stiff penis, and long-lasting sex. Very specific descriptions.
Very vivid. And you mentioned global issues earlier. How does it link that to masturbation?
Right, that's probably the most ambitious connection. It brings back that idea of dilution of knowledge, that humanity lost this ancient wisdom about semen.
Mm-hmm.
And it connects this knowledge deficiency directly to huge problems like climate change, plastic waste, water contamination, even war.
Seriously, it blames things like war on people masturbating.
It suggests a connection. The logic seems to be that this wastage weakens humanity collectively, maybe clouds judgment, leads to poor decisions on a massive scale. It argues that if everyone stopped masturbating, these global crises could actually be positively impacted.
That's a monumental claim. A single solution for everything from pollution to conflict.
It is. It calls for centralizing and restoring this lost knowledge as the key. It even uses that financial analogy again, talking about semen spending.
Semen spending, like a budget.
Kind of. Like you should plan how you spend or invest your semen, saving it up for your retirement life, for long-term well-being. It's presented as the one missing plan in life for many people.
A life plan based on semen retention.
Okay.
And the ultimate vision is
a positive future. If everyone adopts this, the book envisions much better health for all, future generations being much better off, and just a general increase in happiness and fulfillment worldwide.
It's quite utopian in a way.
Yeah.
Does the book say if this applies equally to women? Most of the language seems male-focused.
That's true. It's primarily written for men, but it does state that the fundamental principles are almost similarly applicable to women.
Almost similarly. Any specifics?
It makes one clarification that things like red spots or pimples women might get due to menstruation or hormones should not be considered an act of masturbation in the way it defines it for men.
Okay, so a slight distinction there.
Yeah, but overall, if you take the book's perspective, it's suggesting this deep reevaluation of our energy, our priorities, believing that fixing this one thing could ripple outwards and improve, well, almost everything.
So bringing this all together, having gone through the claims, the justifications, the solutions, what's the final takeaway from David Baldwin's Why You Should Never Masturbate for you, the listener?
Well, the book really ends with a strong challenge to modern thinking. It urges readers to go back to what it calls ancient wisdom about how important semen is.
Right.
It frames a no masturbation policy as the actual root cause solution for just a massive range of problems, physical, mental, social, even global.
Okay.
It promises a better and healthier world and says this path unlocks greater powers and knowledge within yourself.
So the choice presented is pretty stark.
Very much so. It suggests that embracing this knowledge, this specific understanding of semen, can fundamentally reshape your life for the better.
Here's that final quote, right? Living in the past, destroying the future. Living in the present means wiping out all the past and building a great future ahead. It positions this choice as crucial for building that future.
Exactly. The book essentially argues that by understanding and controlling this fundamental energy as it defines it, you can unlock these almost superhuman physical strengths and mental abilities. It really pushes you to ask yourself, could the path to a truly, maybe even magical existence actually lie in what this author claims is the biggest discovery in medical science?
A provocative question to end on. Definitely leaves you thinking.